Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the ones who sift through stacks of research, articles, dev notes, all that source material to give you the essential insights fast.
Yeah, basically the ultimate shortcut.
Exactly. And today we're looking at a game that honestly just kept running and running. Minion Rush. You probably know it as Despicable Me. Minion Rush.
Oh, yeah. It's really the poster child for mobile game longevity, isn't it? It's so easy to just write off a licensed movie game.
Especially a runner.
Especially a runner. But
This is this one.
it became a genuine mobile powerhouse. I mean, we're talking about a game that stayed relevant, stayed profitable, and got fundamental updates for a full decade.
A whole decade. That's
Yeah.
wild in mobile terms. Most games are lucky if they last 10 months.
Right. It's incredible.
So our mission today is to really analyze all the source material we've got. We want to unpack that whole live ops formula. You know, the design secrets, the business side, the surprising depth. And we've distilled it down into 12 pretty fascinating facts that show how this simple runner hit 1 billion downloads. 1 billion.
It's kind of staggering when you say it like that. And the core idea we're digging into here, the thesis, is really that Minion Rush's success boils down to this mix. Super simple tap and swipe controls that anyone can get.
Instantly accessible.
Instantly, combined with this incredibly deep, layered system for keeping players hooked. You know, retention mechanics driven by constant content updates and, crucially, those tie-ins with the movies.
It sounds like a masterclass.
It really is. It's a masterpiece of, like, commercial design, but also player psychology.
Okay, that sounds like something any creator listening could learn a lot from. Let's unpack this. Where do we start?
The beginning, right?
The foundation. Right. Let's kick off with fact 1, the genesis. According to the dev notes we looked at, Minion Rush first launched way back in June 2013. Gameloft developed and published it. That timing, 2013, feels pretty significant.
Oh, it is. Absolutely crucial. Think about what was happening then. 2013, mobile gaming was booming.
Right, yeah. Temple Run Subway Surfers were huge.
Yeah, exactly. But those were original IPs. Minion Rush dropped right when big studios were realizing, hey, there's serious value in doing licensed mobile games properly.
So not just a quick cash in.
Not at all. This wasn't some cheap, slapped together app. This was positioned as a major contender in the runner genre, but with this globally recognized viral IP, the Minions.
And that leads straight into fact 3, a really key decision they made right from the get-go that shaped everything. Right. It's been on tons of platforms, right? iOS, Android, tvOS, even Windows for a bit. But the core design was always mobile first.
And that distinction, the mobile first mandate, honestly, it's probably the single most important decision they made.
Why specifically?
Because it meant the controls weren't some awkward adaptation from, like, a console controller. They were built for the thumb, for that quick 5-minute game you play waiting for the bus. Yeah, the Apple's source material really highlights this. They prioritized simplicity, playing it instantly, and visuals that popped on small screens. High contrast, clear shapes. That attention to detail meant basically anyone, anywhere, could just pick it up and get it immediately.
And that kind of immediate global reach, that accessibility.
Yeah.
That's what lets you hit the kind of numbers we see, in fact, too. Just unprecedented scale.
Yeah, unprecedented is the right word. We're talking about a milestone very few apps ever hit, especially ones that aren't pre-installed on your phone.
So what was the number again?
Gameloft confirmed it. Minion Rush hit 1 billion downloads.
Wow. Okay, let's just sit with that for a second. 1 billion.
It's huge. To give you some context, that makes it one of the very first mobile games based on a movie and one of the first runners, full stop, to reach that kind of global number. It wasn't just impressive, it changed the game for what licensed titles could achieve.
So what does hitting 1 billion tell us? What does that imply about why it works so well? It's more than just a hit game, it's a cultural thing almost.
It tells you, 3 main things, based on analyzing those global market reports. First, its appeal is undeniably global and casual. It jumps over language barriers because, Minions, they're visual comedy, and swiping is universal.
No, right. No translation needed.
Exactly. Second, it proves the raw power of that film IP. The Minions' familiarity, their chaotic energy that acted like a massive nonstop marketing engine, every movie, every short fed back into the game. And third, hitting 1 billion means the game had to be engineered to run on, pretty much anything. Lower spec devices, especially in emerging markets, maximum accessibility.
Okay, so accessibility plus a viral mascot equals huge downloads.
Yeah.
Got it. But downloads are just a start, right?
Yeah.
People download stuff all the time and forget it. That doesn't guarantee you'll be around in 10 years.
Not at all.
Which brings us to fact 4. The shift from that initial splash to long-term survival. You called it the live ops imperative.
Yes. And this is where we pivot a bit from game design principles to the business strategy behind it. We should probably define live ops clearly for anyone listening who might not be familiar.
Good idea.
So live ops or live operations, it's basically the ongoing strategic release of new stuff, content, events, ways to spend money, all designed to keep a game alive and earning revenue after it launches. It's not fire and forget, it's continuous gardening.
And that's the core reason Minion Rush stuck around for a decade.
That's the core explanation, yes. Constant attention.
That sounds exhausting for the developers. 10 years of non-stop updates. That's a serious commitment.
It takes a dedicated team, absolutely, and a really well-oiled machine, a structured pipeline. Gameloft's whole strategy was built around these constant cycles of events, plus massive updates on the big anniversaries.
Like the 5-year, 10-year ones?
Exactly. The 5-year, 7-year, the big 10-year milestone. These weren't just, new hats for the minions.
Yeah.
They often involved fundamentally reworking parts of the game's structure, the UI, everything.
So live ops keeps those billion players coming back, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Precisely. It gives them a reason to open the app. It turns the game from a single product you buy or download once into an ongoing service.
Okay, so foundation. Accessible, global, viral IP, and this continuous content engine. But the core gameplay is still running, right? Swiping left, swiping right. How did they stop that from getting, boring after year 1?
Good question. That leads us perfectly into how the design itself evolved over time.
Right, avoiding stagnation. That's got to be the biggest hurdle for any endless runner. And this is where Gameloft started adding layers, complexity on top of that simple swipe. In fact, 5 points to this commitment to keeping it fresh through major UX overhauls.
Yeah, they really, really refused to let the game just feel old. The source materials are clear. They weren't just doing minor tweaks like small graphics patches. They did fundamental modern UI and visual refreshes. Big ones.
That feels important. They had to keep it looking like a game made for phones in the 2020s, not 2013.
Exactly. You have to update the whole aesthetic to match current player expectations, current hardware capabilities. You can't just put new paint on a crumbling house.
So it's not just adding content, it's rebuilding the framework sometimes.
Precisely. And the MinionRush.com source specifically mentions that within some of these big updates, they introduced a new endless run mode.
Wait, a new endless mode on top of the existing running?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty clever design strategy. It gave veteran players a refreshed core loop, something different to master, while they often integrated the mission structures more into the, let's call them classic, map rotations. It diversifies the experience, fights off that runner burnout.
Diversification.
Yeah.
That also came through adding story elements, didn't it? Which brings us to fact 6, something you don't always see in runners: boss fights.
Yes. This was absolutely crucial for breaking that potentially monotonous run-score-repeat cycle. Minion Rush actually weaves in boss encounters, real narrative moments.
Like fighting Vector.
It's exactly like facing off against Vector, yeah.
Yeah.
The YouTube source material is full of these moments. You're not just running endlessly for a high score. You hit these mission points where you have a character-driven boss fight, and it forces you to change how you play.
It changes your muscle memory, right?
Totally. It shifts the whole feel.
As a player, that feels different psychologically, too. Simple runners are pure reflex. But adding bosses makes you think about patterns, timing, maybe saving a specific power-up. It makes the running feel like the journey between these bigger moments. It gives you a sense of actual progression, not just a higher number.
It adds purpose, exactly. And this layering of goals, having things to do beyond just running, directly fuels Fact 7, the collector economy.
Yeah.
This is where that long-term sticky retention really kicks in. It moves beyond just fun in the moment to, goal-driven play.
We're talking about the costumes here, right?
Yeah.
All the different minion skins.
Precisely. The core strategy is that most of these skins aren't just bought. They're presented as cosmetic collectibles. You unlock them by grinding through missions, collecting special tokens, or playing during limited time events.
Okay.
And the Despicable Me fandom wiki source really emphasizes this. The fans treat the rare skins, the hard-to-get ones, almost like trading cards.
Oh, I can see that. That taps into that basic human desire to collect, to complete a set.
Absolutely. And it's fueled by scarcity, by FOMO, the fear of missing out. If that special, scuba diver minion skin is only around for 3 days,
then players who haven't played in months might log back in just to grind for it.
Exactly. It creates this internal drive to participate in those live ops events, not just for the score, but to get the thing, to complete the collection. That collector energy transforms the game from just a time killer into more of a hobby, a lifestyle game focused on accumulating cool stuff.
And that impulse to collect, to accumulate, gets a huge boost from Fact 8, the synergy and re-engagement factor. That's the link back to the movies.
Yes, the mothership connection. This is the external fuel that keeps the engine hot. The game isn't just its own little world. It constantly, strategically ties into Illumination and Universal releases.
So any new Despicable Me movie or a spin-off, maybe even a holiday special.
Yep. Anything Minion-related out in the wider world, the game hooks into it with promotions, special events, themed content.
Wow. So every time a new movie trailer drops or the film comes out, Minion Rush essentially gets a massive free marketing push.
Pretty much. It's like a guaranteed injection of attention on a regular schedule.
And that must drive huge numbers back to the game.
Huge. Gameloft's own notes confirm these tie-ins cause massive spikes in player re-engagement. Think about it. Someone sees the movie trailer, remembers the game, maybe hasn't played in 6 months.
And they jump back in to grab the new costume based on the movie character.
Precisely. It brings lapsed players back into the fold.
Okay, but I have to push back a little here. Isn't relying so heavily on the movies a bit of a risk? I mean, what if, hypothetically, the Minion craze eventually cools down? What happens to the game then?
That's a fair point. It's definitely a calculated risk. But the design strategy we've been talking about helps mitigate it.
How so?
By constantly refreshing the internal stuff, the UX, the boss fights, the core live ops engine itself, they make sure the game can kind of stand on its own 2 feet, even when there isn't a movie driving hype. The IP provides the big peaks in attention. But the internal depth, the collecting, the missions, that provides the sustainable baseline, the troughs between the peaks. It's this, perfectly balanced ecosystem. The films feed the game keeps the brand alive and kicking between films.
The level of coordination needed for that must be immense.
Oh, it's a logistical feat. Most licensed games just don't manage that kind of long-term cross-promotional synergy. It really is a masterclass.
Okay, so we've got the strong foundation, the clever design evolution. Let's peek under the hood now. Let's look at the tech, the money, the community, the stuff that keeps this whole 10-year operation actually running. Fact 9 gives us a really interesting look at the technical backstage.
Yeah, this one speaks volumes about the game's depth, way beyond just casual swiping. The source, tcrf.net, that's the cutting room floor, the wiki that documents unused stuff in games.
Oh, yeah, I know it. Fascinating site.
Right. Well, it highlights that there's serious interest in Minion Rush from game preservationists and data miners. These aren't casual players. These are people digging into the code itself.
What are they looking for in a mobile runner's code? Seems kind of niche.
They're looking for digital artifacts, essentially. Preservationists want to find early beta assets, maybe old visual styles that got cut, code that's no longer used. They want to understand how the game was built and how it changed over time. They treat the game files like a kind of living museum.
Okay, I get that. What about the data miners or speedrunners?
Speedrunners are often looking for exploits. Glitches in collision detection, maybe frame rate tricks, anything that lets them skip parts of missions or find the absolute fastest path through the game's structure.
So the game's code itself becomes this sort of playground for dedicated technical fans.
Exactly. A playground for curious fans and speedrunners. It creates this ongoing puzzle, this sense of hidden depths. It adds a layer of mystique, suggesting the game world is bigger than what you just see on the screen.
That's pretty cool. It makes the game feel less disposable.
Right. It implies there's history and secrets worth uncovering. But all that technical depth, that history, it needs funding to keep going. Which brings us neatly to Fact 10. Monetization and analytics. We know it hit 1 billion downloads, but like we said, downloads don't automatically equal dollars, especially long-term.
So how does the game make money? How does it translate that huge scale into a sustainable business after a decade?
Okay, so the revenue comes primarily from 2 main streams, in-app purchases, IAPs, and ads. Pretty standard mobile stuff, but the execution is key.
Right. IAPs, what kind of things?
Yeah. They use a multi-currency system. You've got bananas, the soft currency you earn just by running and playing. Then you have premium tokens, or another currency, usually bought with real money.
And the premium currency gets you the good stuff faster.
Yeah, rarer costumes, powerful single-use power-ups, or maybe instantly finishing a mission goal you're stuck on. It's that classic funnel.
Let free players grind it out, or let paying players take a shortcut.
Exactly. And the ads, they're integrated pretty carefully. Often it's like, watch this ad for a small reward, a few tokens, a free revive, that kind of thing. Not usually interruptive, forced ads.
That seems key to not annoying players.
Critically important. And the analytics data we have from sources like Sensor Tower confirms this works. It shows steady installs and, crucially, steady revenue trends, even years and years after that initial launch hype died down.
Steady revenue.
Yeah.
That proves the business model is working, that the live ops are successfully keeping people engaged and spending.
It confirms it's a viable, profitable, long-term business asset for Gameloft, not just some old game coasting on nostalgia.
But money isn't everything for longevity. You need people to actually care, which is fact 11, the community lifeline.
Ah, yes, the social layer. The creator culture around Minion Rush is surprisingly vibrant, especially for a mobile game this old. And it acts like a free, continuous marketing machine.
You mean like YouTube videos and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking YouTube channels dedicated to boss runs, walkthroughs of the special events, fan edits showing off cool moments or glitches. It's constantly being generated.
What's really interesting there is that the community isn't just playing the game. They're actively creating around the game. And that content they create helps other players, keeps the game visible, brings new people in.
It's a virtuous cycle. A fan posts a great video on how to beat a tricky boss. Other players watch it. Maybe they learn something. Maybe they get inspired to try the event themselves. That video also shows up in searches, potentially attracting new players.
And the source material mentioned, the community finds weird event moments.
Yeah, like discovering optimal strategies for grinding bananas or pointing out useful glitches that maybe the devs haven't fixed yet. This constant stream of community-generated content. It's free marketing, free engagement driving. For a mobile game trying to last a decade, that cycle where the game's depth inspires community creation, which then drives more engagement, that's the ultimate growth hack. It keeps the lights on socially. Hashtag 5, the ultimate design secret in player application. Fact 12.
All right, we've covered the foundation, the evolution, the engine room. Now we get to fact 12. This feels like the core takeaway, the big secret sauce for anyone studying how to make a successful mobile game last. If you had to boil down 10 years of Minion Rush success into one core design philosophy, what is it?
Okay, the formula, distilled right down. According to that Apple source we mentioned earlier, the ultimate design secret is deceptively simple. Minion Rush is easy to learn, hard to master.
Okay, easy to learn, hard to master. Sounds straightforward, but nailing it must be the tricky part.
Oh, absolutely. The execution is where the magic is.
So let's break that down. Easy to learn. That's the tap and swipe, right? Simple controls. Anyone can pick it up in seconds. That's what got those billion downloads initially. Global accessibility.
Exactly. That's the wide top of the funnel. But the hard to master part, that's the engine that keeps people playing for years. And it's layered. Mastery isn't just about having faster reflexes.
What else is involved?
It's about strategy. Knowing when to use which power-up. Understanding the, frankly, quite complex mission system, which missions give the best rewards, how to complete them efficiently. Optimizing your run based on the boosts from the specific costume you're wearing. Competing effectively on the leaderboards, which often have their own rules or modifiers during events.
So you might feel competent quickly, but there's always another layer to figure out, another goal to chase.
Precisely. You master the basic swipe in 5 minutes, maybe, but you never fully 100% complete everything. The collection, the mission trees, perfecting every single run for a top leaderboard spot. There's always something more.
That constant evolving challenge. That's a live ops model, perfectly defined, isn't it? Simple entry, but potentially infinite evolving depth to keep you engaged.
It absolutely is, and that depth is so important for any creators listening. Don't mistake simple controls for shallow design. You can have a game that's incredibly easy to start playing, but still offers really complex long-term goals that reward true dedication and strategy.
Okay, so based on everything we've dug into the tech notes, the fan discussions, Gameloft's strategies, can we pull out, say, 3 concrete, actionable tips for players who want to get better, or maybe for designers looking for inspiration?
Yeah, I think we can pull 3 really solid tips directly from analyzing all these sources.
All right, tip number 1.
Okay, tip 1. Use the hoverboard power-up strategically. Don't just grab it and use it whenever. The Apple source specifically suggests saving it for tight tunnels or during tricky boss fight phases.
So use it when you're most likely to crash. maximize its value.
Exactly. Most people probably waste it on wide open, easy sections. Use it defensively when the risk is highest.
Got it. Okay, tip number 2.
Tip 2 is more about playing the metagame, the live ops cycle. Gameloft's own info points to this. Play strategically during those big tie-in weeks. When a new movie hits or there's a major promotion.
Why then specifically?
Because that's when you can really grind for the limited edition costumes and unique story items tied to the event. Those weeks are often designed to be extra rewarding, maybe with temporary currency boosts or special mission chains, specifically for players trying to complete their collections. Play the calendar.
Smart. Okay, and tip number 3.
Tip 3 loops back to that community lifeline we talked about. The YouTube source material strongly suggests watching community videos, speedruns, event guides.
Not just to see high scores.
No, specifically look for optimal strategies for the current event. How are top players maximizing their points or currency? And yeah, sometimes you might spot a useful glitch or shortcut that the community has found for, say, farming bananas faster or completing a tough mission objective. Let the community hive mind be your guide.
Basically, use the community as your advanced strategy guide and maybe even your unofficial QA team.
You got it. And, thinking about all this careful design, the retention mechanics, the monetization, it brings up a quick point about ethics and mobile design.
The balance, right?
Yeah. We've seen how deliberate and strategic this all is. To last 10 years, a game like this has to strike a balance. It needs to create real joy and keep people engaged, but without tipping over into feeling like exploitatively addictive or demanding unhealthy amounts of time.
That seems like a fine line to walk.
It is. But Minion Rush's enduring success suggests they found a good balance. The focus seems to be on sustainable fun, making the rewards feel achievable, making the grind feel optional, or at least not brutally punishing. If the game felt overly aggressive in its monetization or just frustratingly hard all the time,
the community wouldn't have stuck around. People would have just left.
Exactly. That long-term success is almost proof that they prioritize keeping the fun sustainable, not just maximizing short-term metrics. That design philosophy itself is probably a big part of why it lasted. #tag V, cultural resonance and closing insights.
So zooming out from the mechanics and the business, the cultural impact of Minion Rush is just undeniable, isn't it? It feels like more than just a game. It's become this, happy, chaotic little piece of Despicable Me culture itself.
It really has. It connects with people emotionally, partly through that very specific Minion brand of slapstick humor and, chaos.
Yeah.
And the game cleverly lets players kind of relive moments from the films, but in these little micro bursts of gameplay, running through familiar locations, dodging familiar obstacles, encountering familiar characters. It strengthens that tie to the whole franchise.
It keeps the world of the movies alive and interactive even between film releases.
Exactly. That emotional connection, that familiarity, that's a big part of why people keep it installed, why it stays relevant long after the novelty of just being a runner wears off.
This whole idea of continuous iteration, the constant UX updates, the new modes, the relentless live ops cycle.
Yeah.
It makes me think about parallels in, modern creative work generally. We had some wider source material mentioning concepts like Pixonova, these sort of AI-driven or highly automated creative studios.
Oh, that's a fascinating connection. Yeah.
Was there a lesson there for indie creators, maybe?
I think there absolutely is. You can look at Minion Rush's development over the decade as a kind of automation meets imagination. Gameloft didn't just build one game and walk away. They built a content engine.
An engine?
Yeah, a system capable of sustained, semi-automated deployment of new levels, new events, new costumes, season after season. The lesson for creators, big or small, is that long-term success in the digital space today often requires that kind of continuous iteration. You need structured, efficient pipelines to keep refreshing the experience, to keep content flowing, without having to reinvent the wheel entirely every single time.
So it's about building the capacity to evolve, not just building the initial product.
Precisely. In the mobile market especially, it feels like the moment you stop iterating, you stop refreshing, you risk becoming obsolete almost immediately. Minion Rush is basically Exhibit A for how continuous evolution is the key to real digital longevity.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's try to tie all these threads together with those key quotes from our source notes. What were they again?
Right. The first one really captures the scale of the achievement. It said the game turned a film license into a mobile powerhouse.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah.
It set a new standard for what a movie tie-in could be.
And the second quote, that defines the how, the formula. The success is due to Simple controls, viral mascots, and constant new content.
Simple controls, viral mascots, constant new content. That's the decade-long strategy in a nutshell.
It really is the perfect storm of instantly recognizable IP, super accessible gameplay, and just tireless, relentless execution on the live ops and business side. #outro.
Wow. We have covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From that staggering billion download number
Still kind of mind-blowing.
to the whole collector economy, with fans treating skins like trading cards, the weird technical depth attracting data miners. And that core philosophy, easy to learn, hard to master, fueled by constant live ops.
It's been quite the journey through those facts. And it makes us genuinely curious for you listening which fact about Minion Rush surprised you the most.
Yeah, was it the sheer scale, the technical side, or maybe just the idea that this much strategic effort goes into keeping a mobile runner alive for 10 years?
We'd love to know. Drop us a line. Or better yet, share something. Maybe a screenshot of that super rare costume you finally managed to unlock.
Or that crazy boss fight moment you managed to capture during one of the movie tie-in events. We always enjoy seeing those community triumphs and stories.
Absolutely. And hey, if you found this deep dive into the nuts and bolts, the mechanics, the marketing, the community behind one of mobile gaming's biggest, longest-running hits interesting,
then definitely subscribe. We do these deep dives regularly, unpacking the designs and strategies behind all sorts of cultural and creative phenomena.
So, final thought on Minion Rush.
I think it is this. The real magic of Minion Rush isn't just about the running, is it? It's about how they managed to keep the joy evolving for so long.
Well said. Keep finding that evolving joy. Stay electric, everyone.